yesterday he plans to use other funds in the beginning to get started, and then if and when those funds run out, and they will, then he would turn to this military construction law. There's also a question, I think a serious legal question, about whether the military construction law that he would use to follow up on his emergency declaration is appropriately applied in these circumstances. It's supposed to be used for projects that require the use of the armed forces, military bases overseas, for example. It's hard to argue that a wall or fence or any other mechanism along the border is necessary for the use of the U.S. Armed Forces. So a judge could actually stop construction of the wall without ever getting to the big questions that the president was speculating about on your tape from yesterday.
A quick final question. In the end, does it come down to John Roberts playing the Anthony Kennedy role?
You know, it depends. If a lower court judge is to find that this military construction law doesn't support these activities, and he looks at the text of the law, which has never been construed before, and says, no, you may not use this particular law, it would be very difficult for an appellate court, including the Supreme Court, to second-guess the judgment of a trial court who's looked at the evidence and made a record on the basis of what the law says. So I think this is unlike the president is channeling the travel ban case here, where, of course, ultimately he succeeded in overturning the lower courts and getting the result he wanted. But this is a very different set of circumstances than the travel ban.
Professor Banks, thank you so much for your expertise.
It's good to be with you. Thanks.
More reaction now from my Smerconish Twitter and Facebook pages. What do we have? Smerconish, I don't care if he's rambling, as long as he tries to keep his promises. He'll have my support in 2020, and this time I'll actively work toward his and his supporters' campaign. I mean, I guess that's part of the calculus, right? That he wants to be perceived as taking on this fight, even if it ends up in the Supreme Court. And by the way, if it ends up in the Supreme Court and it doesn't go his way, then it becomes an argument that he makes which says, we need more conservative justices, and I'll do that when I have the opportunity. One more if I've got time. Golf course is safest place during this national emergency. Yeah, Gil, just like the quote yesterday, bad optics. I don't begrudge the man a vacation. It's President's Day weekend. But to declare an emergency, in the morning or late morning and then get on a plane to Mar-a-Lago in the afternoon, I think it's an issue. I think it's an issue. Up ahead, the wicked words for the female governor of Michigan. It's all about how she looks in the dress that she wore to her State of the State address. The reaction is going to shock you. Would anybody ever say the same things about a male politician? No. And walking for the world, Allbirds, the environmentally friendly shoes that are profiting the earth and making a profit too.
These days we're all stressed. I hear you, sister. That's why I'm partnering with Cigna to remind you to go in for your annual checkup and be open with your doctor about anything you feel, physically and emotionally, body and mind.
When I kept finding myself smoking in my attic, hiding when I was supposed to be quitting, I thought I should try something that works. I should try Nicorette.
Nicorette Mini relieves sudden cravings fast, anytime, anywhere. Nicorette Mini. You know why, we know how.
The F-Pace, the SUV with the heart of a Jaguar.